We have all been there, right? You get that flash of a brilliant idea, that spark. But then comes the hard part. How do you actually take that amazing vision and make it real? That's the challenge. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Maybe it's this huge vision for your community or something for your work or even a personal passion project. You can see it so clearly in your mind, that perfect end result. But that path from the initial idea to a finished thing, it can feel like you're staring at this giant tangled knot of problems and questions. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed and just get stuck. Well, today we're going to untangle that knot. We're going to give you a clear, actionable blueprint to get you from point A to point B. And we're pulling these insights directly from John Edmiston's book, Solution-Focused Ministry, to give you a solid framework for making things happen. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We've got 5 key steps. We'll start by laying the right groundwork, then talk about getting people on your side, then how to start small but plan big, assess what you're really capable of, and finally, find that grit to see it all the way through to the finish line. All right, first up, laying the groundwork. Now, you might think the first step is to just jump into action, right? But the source material says, hang on. True success actually starts with something way deeper, wisdom and knowing the right time to move. See, this isn't just about ticking boxes on a project plan. The book really hammers this home. The real foundation is a strategic, spiritual awareness. It's about knowing when to act, not just how to act. It's about timing. So, how in the world do you get that kind of wisdom? Well, you don't have to figure it out all alone. The book has this awesome practical advice. Build a wise counsel. It's called the 3 W's. You need someone who gets the finances. That's wealth. You need someone who's going to be in the trenches with you, doing the hard stuff. That's work. And you need someone with that gut instinct, that discernment. That's wisdom. Get those 3 and you're building on rock, not sand. Okay, once that foundation is solid, it's time to rally the troops. Because let's be real, no great vision ever becomes a reality by itself. It's time to turn your solo mission into a movement. And the core idea here is super simple but incredibly powerful. You cannot go it alone. Success is a team sport. Getting other people, stakeholders, volunteers, whoever, to believe in your project isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. And lucky for us, the book lays out a clear 5-step playbook for this. First, figure out who your key people are and do it early. Second, be crystal clear about what you're trying to do. Third, don't hide from the hard stuff. Talk about the challenges up front. Fourth, find your champions, the people who are as excited as you are. And finally, be ready to pivot. Be flexible. That's your roadmap to bringing people with you. Let's make this real. The book gives this great example. Imagine a worship leader who desperately needs a new sound system, but keeps getting told no. Instead of giving up, they follow these steps. They show the decision makers exactly why it's needed. They're honest about the costs, and they're flexible, suggesting a smaller, partially funded start. And just like that, they can turn that no into a yes. Okay, so you've got your foundation, you've got your people on board, so now what? How do you actually launch this thing? The key here is to avoid that all or nothing trap. It's about starting small while never ever losing sight of the big picture. The book has this brilliant name for it, the mustard seed approach. The whole idea is to find the smallest, most basic version of your project that can actually work and create value. It's not about thinking small, it's about starting smart, with a clear plan for how that tiny seed is going to grow into a giant tree. And here's a perfect way to picture it. Think about a huge Bible translation project. The minimum viable start isn't the final printed bound book. No way. It's just a couple of translators, maybe a consultant, and one donor. That's the seed. The long-term vision, the big tree, is the fully translated scripture in the hands of thousands. You gotta start with the seed. Now, starting small is smart, but even a tiny seed needs the right soil to grow. And that brings us to a super important reality check. Does your ambition actually match your ability to get it done? So, the book gives us this awesome 6-point checklist to assess your capacity. You've got to take a hard, honest look at everything from your money to your leadership skills, your actual plan, the people you have, and how you handle risk. You know, trying to grow too fast without this stuff in place, that's a recipe for disaster. So just take a second and look at this list. For your idea, your project, where are you feeling strong? And more importantly, where are the gaps? What do you need to work on before you can really start to scale up? And that brings us to the final and honestly, maybe the most critical piece of this whole puzzle. Because every single project, no matter how well planned, is going to hit roadblocks. Success comes down to your resilience, your grit to just see it through. And the source material puts this in a really powerful spiritual context. This quote here reframes those setbacks. They aren't just failures, they're actually part of the process, preparing you for something bigger. It's all about keeping your eyes on that ultimate goal, especially when the problems right in front of you feel massive. So here's the bottom line. You are going to face moments where you feel like you just don't have enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough strength. And according to the book, that's right where victory is found. It's in that resilience, that grit, and in relying on guidance that's bigger than your own abilities. So there you have it. From laying the groundwork with wisdom, all the way to persevering with grit, that's the blueprint for turning your vision into a reality. Your idea, your solution, it really matters. So the only question left is, what's your first tiny mustard seed step?